Hello, hello, and welcome to the ENG YNPL Review Show with me, Smiler, and Richard Tweed. What we're going to will be will it be revenge for Oldham for after last season's shock to Chester? That's what we're talking about. Can Wyre and Leeds get into the top four? Can Oaksway get their first win? And we look back after the last couple of weeks, which has been quite mad. It really has.
Yeah, well, you probably want to talk about the under-14s because you were there. And I wasn't.
God, it seems such a long time ago, mate. It really does. It's how where do we start, mate? There's so much going on.
I think the best place to start is the under-14 Southern Conference.
Okay, right. Let's bring it up.
Which would have been January the 28th because we had a double header, didn't we?
That's right. We did, and FBL did 3 cameras in both locations. Ta-da!
So, 28th of January. Yeah. This is probably one of the biggest. When I got back to the venue, I looked at the score sheets and I was flicking through it, expecting to see results I thought would be, but I was very surprised to see results not going the way the form book kind of.
You've not updated your website.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
What's that?
It's just showing the times, mate. 28th of January. Oh, no. What? That was a bit weird. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
you just did that today, didn't you?
Some interesting results there. So we'll go through the results and we'll talk about why it was interesting. So to start off with, Cross Keys played Manor Met. Manor Met have come into the league to replace Eagles. Good result for Cross
Keys
game. and Manor. Cross Keys won the, I think, 5th or 6th best placed team in the country. 33-21, respectable result for Manor. So well done to Manor on their debut game in the Youth Netball Premier League. Then Teambridge took on AP Saints. Now, I expected a Teambridge win against AP Saints, who hadn't started the season very, very well at all.
Coming up, mate. Coming up.
AP Saints got a good win. They got a few new players in the team who have kind of helped recapture that energy they once had.
It was a good game, mate.
It looks like it. A really good game. So 2017. Then Manor played again against Teambridge. It looks like another good game. 26-31.
I think Manor met. Manor's going to be, they're getting used to it. They're getting used to the league. You can see that the team, they're very well put together. They're, the coaches, they're all getting. I think it's that you're first in, so it's a bit like, whoa, a bit different than I thought. But they look to me like they're playing really well, mate. So there you go.
They did. Well, I was looking at the highlights, and you can always tell the intentions of a team when you watch them play, just in basic things, how they pass the ball and move around the court, and they look a team with a lot of intensity. So well done to Manor on their first 2 games, narrowly losing to Teambridge, who are a decent team at this level. Well done to both teams. Then Western Park Blades, they had a few players missing because of a school national competition, but this didn't disrupt them. In their first game, they won 35-27. The same for Ryland and Magic. They had players missing in school events. So, it balanced itself out. But Ryland got the win 29-21.
I think it was the last quarter Ryland started to walk away from that. I can't remember. But, another good game.
Then the big shock, and I watched the last quarter of this online, was Shan versus Western Park Blades. Now, considering Western Park Blades were missing 2 or 3 of what they would deem their best players, this was a huge win because Shan, as I don't think they had any players missing, they come unstuck against a very competitive, a very determined Western Park Blades who won 21-19, and it went down to the last minutes, didn't it, Martin?
Yeah, mate, nail biter all the way through. I said to their coach at the start, you're in the league, blah, blah, blah. I gave him commentator's curse. I swear to God, because for that result, that game was nail biting all the way through. It was just all the stuff. I was like, whoa, crazy. Just so much determination from West Park Blades and obviously Shan as well, trying to get the win. But they were shocked. They were well and truly shocked with that loss. But it's open. It's made the table, mate. Oh, I can't wait to just show the table. It's just like, I hate to say it, but it's like, now that they lost, it's a bit like, that's just, heaven for us,
Oh God, yeah, the next round is just ridiculous. So after that game, after the drama, Ryland kept up their level of performance with a win against Turnford, so 35-22. Then the final game, Shan got back to winning ways against Magic, 23-16. But it looked like that was two tough games there for Shan.
Mate, I have to say this, right? I think that round, it's either that you're not there or you might have to start doing drug testing, because all those games on that day were just unreal. It was so much energy in there. They were, they were playing, brilliant netball. They were working hard all through the court, through all the quarters. And I said this to you, when you turned up, I said, mate, today has been unreal. I mean, the workmanship on the play and the passing from all teams, was just unreal. So we might have to start doing drug tests because that high energy was amazing to see. It really was.
Well, if you look at the table, we've probably got the like kind of most exciting finale to a season we've ever seen.
Won't get that in the Premiership in football or anything, will you? Look at that.
So remember, not only are these teams trying to win the league, because we all want to win, they're trying to avoid the top teams in the north. Considering you have the treble chasers in the other league, it's imperative that you don't come fourth, because no one wants to play the treble chasers. But they're all on 10 points at the top. It looks like those four are going to qualify for the grand finals. It looks like AP Saints, Magic, Turnford and Teambridge, they look favourites to qualify for our championship finals. But if we look at the fixtures on the March the 4th, and I cannot wait for this. This is epic. So Western Park will play Manor. Now, like you saw Manor. No pushovers. If Western Park Blades are not on their game, they can come unstuck in that one. So they're going to have to make sure they are fully focused. Then we've got the big one. This is huge. We've got, is it first versus second. So we've got Cross Keys against Ryland at 10 o'clock. Too early for that. Like, come on. Way too early.
Let my breakfast digest, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'll be on my second cup of tea by then.
Right, that's just crazy. 10 a.m.
But then Western Park Blades then play a resurgent AP Saints, who would be confident that they can, if things pan out a certain way, AP Saints potentially could be knocking on the door of the top four. It's very unlikely, but you never know. So AP Saints, Western Park Blades, another huge game. Then we've got Manor versus Ryland. If Ryland win against Cross Keys, the confidence is going to be through the roof. If they lose, the pressure will be on against Manor, who really have nothing to lose. So another good game.
That's quite a mad thing, because if you haven't got the pressure and you can just enjoy yourself and get on with the game, you can actually be a lot more stronger than somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
Pressure. Yeah, so.
Then we've got Cross Keys versus Magic. Magic are one of those teams that you just don't know what you're getting from them. And Cross Keys are going to need to be professional enough to get the job done there. And it all depends, I think, on how they perform in the first game, how that game will pan out. Then AP Saints will play Shan, which is another good game. CD Phoenix versus Teambridge. Magic versus Turnford. Shan versus Teambridge. And CD Phoenix versus Turnford. So you've got games at the bottom of the table. So you've got like Turnford versus Magic. You've got CD Phoenix taking on Turnford. So not only do we have top of the table battles, CD Phoenix are going to hopefully, they're going to be hoping they can get a couple of wins under their belt to get out of the relegation zone. So so they can potentially compete in the league next season. So a lot to play for on March the 4th. I cannot wait to get to March the 4th. It's going to be a good day at the office.
I'll tell you what, get your friends, your family watching all those games, because that's well worth every single penny. just to.
It definitely is. I'm hoping. Just want to see the sports hall filled.
I'm about
The
to
live
say,
stream going mental.
I
Everyone just fixed in.
I expect people banging on your door, having a go at you that they can't get a seat because you're so. That is a sellout. That is that. You know, if that was boxing or whatever, it'd be like, coming up live in the red corner, boom. You know what I mean? It's like sold out. You can't get tickets. They're getting sold on eBay for £50 million just to get in. You know, that's what I expect on March the 4th. And then obviously they can't get in, so they're on the live stream. And then I want social media. Social media should be going mad.
Yeah,
because there should be people updating on social media going, oh my God, this is amazing, this game, blah, blah, blah. And also watch the live stream and people just putting stuff like, you know, who are up or whatever's going on, because it's going to be crazy. I mean, 4 at the top fighting. It's just like, come on. It's
mad.
Oh,
before we move on to the next league, Martin, if we can just show everyone the highlights from round 3. So see all the best bits from round 3, which was a dramatic round 3.
some mad shots on that one, mate. Mad shots. Just wow.
Just to let you know, Martin, the Netball Super League have just launched a new platform where they're going to be doing weekly review shows.
No,
and
you're joking.
Highlights from the match play.
Where I wonder where they got that idea from. This is why I like my beard. I can actually stroke a beard now. Go, that's interesting. It's just like, oh, live streaming. I wonder where they come up with that idea.
It's kind of mad that 12-year-old kids had this before the professionals.
Because we did it, mate. We did it. We rock this world. We rock netball. We rock it all, mate. We put them first.
I want everyone to. I want to ask everyone at home.
Yeah,
I'm going to stick this on Instagram. Did the Netball Super League copy ENG's model of review shows, highlight reels? Yes,
ENG and
no?
FPL.
Vote now. We're sticking on Instagram, Martin.
Yeah. There you go. Also put another one. I'm going to put it out on my thing. Do you think you would have live streaming for England netball stuff if it wasn't for FPL live streaming? The content on ENG. There you go. There's another one. That's going to upset the apple cart. Because I know for a fact, because I spoke to a few people, if it wasn't for FPL live streaming all the ENG matches, there would not be live streaming for netball. It's crazy. But, mate, it's nothing, nothing more great than being.
We'll keep chopping down those trees, mate. We'll keep chopping them down,
mate. Hey, let's not chop the trees. Let's just move them to the side.
Yeah,
keep the trees, man. Keep the trees. Hug the trees, man. Come on.
Keep it green, man. Keep it green.
Keep it green.
Right, let's move on to the under-15s Northern Conference, which was on the same day as the Southern Conference.
There we go. Do you want to see the league, or do you want to see what the results? There we are. I've got to refresh it. That's what you were typing on your thing. There we go. Oh, look, the scores have appeared.
So it was a. Oh, I've just gone off my thing. I could see it on yours anyway. Right, this first game we had, Chester are coasting. They literally are 7 points up going into the final quarter. Martin, you've been watching enough netball to know that when teams are 7 points up, they don't normally get back. The other team normally doesn't get back. Very rarely will they get back. And Leeds just kept chipping away. And for some reason, it was the most strangest thing. Chester decided just to stop playing netball. It was very strange. It was like I was looking around to think, are they on strike?
We won't work the last quarter.
You know, we've had all these teacher strikes. We've had all these hospital strikes. I thought there was potentially a netball strike. It was strange. And Chester should be very disappointed in themselves because the game was won. But Leeds managed to find a way back into it. And once their confidence built, and the thing is, they were confident throughout. Like they didn't look like a team who looked like they were going to be beaten. They always stuck to task. They always worked hard. And it's testament to just keep going. Like sometimes when you're losing, the easiest thing you can do is give up. But have a bit of self-respect about yourself. Have a bit of self-respect for the parents who are watching. Have a bit of respect for the coach, and just think, you know what? Let's make people work for the win. And that's what they did. And they found the gap, and they took it. And it was brilliant. So Leeds probably, I can't remember the last time a team in the last quarter was 7 points down and went and won. So it could be the first time ever. So well done, Leeds Athletic, for that. Next game, Grangetown versus Kingsway Power. Grangetown started well. They were missing one of their top defenders, which didn't help. Kingsway Power in the end a bit too strong. Again, it's just the mistakes. Like when you play Kingsway Power, you know you've got limited amount of stakes in your locker. Anything over 10 mistakes in the game, you're probably going to lose. Like
anything against Kingsway Power, and then like 2, and you're done.
They just again, Grangetown just missed the opportunity. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I have to do.
So Grangetown, another loss in the league. Considering they come second last season and third overall, it's been a disappointing season so far. Next up, Leeds Athletic versus Bury. Leeds done exceptionally well again against the unbeaten Bury, but Bury just a little bit too good for him on this occasion. But the score does suggest that Leeds are getting better and better. And plus, they had a couple of under 13s in that under 15s team. Ooh. So just shows the strength and depth they have. Next up, Wyre against Kingsway Power. Tough to ask for Wyre to get a result out of that game, 40-20. This round was plagued with teams who were missing players for school because of a school competition, the same reason they were missing in the South. And, Wyre were missing a few players and it just didn't help. So 41-20 to Kingsway Power. Then Grangetown Oldham, once again, started relatively competitive, but Oldham had a little bit too much in their locker for Grangetown and got a convincing win. Then the final game of the day. I can never do it, can I? It's the other way round, everyone.
Other way round? What? Jonathan Wath?
Wow. Ellesmere Port and Bury. It was 33-20 to Bury. Bury, it was tight up until the second quarter. When it got into the third quarter, Bury had a good third quarter, and the game was over after that. In the highlight reel we're going to do, I want everyone to have their opinion on a bit of time wasting.
Oh, is it in there?
Yeah.
Oh! Let's know in the comments, people.
Once we have a look at the league table, but actually no. Let's look at the highlights, then we'll look at the league table afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me make sure I choose the right one. Under 15 Northern. Where are you? Here we are.
say that.
Mate. That time. To you, to me, to me, to you, to you.
So, what that means for the table, if we go up to the table.
Oh, dear. That's good. Oh, dear. There we go.
So, it looks like Oldham and Bury are fighting it out for the top of the table. Ellesmere Port remain in third after their first defeat against Bury. Kingsway Power, fourth. They're back in the mix and looking to hopefully climb up the table to try and get as high as possible to avoid playing the top teams in the south. But Chester are only 2 points behind them. Grangetown have a very big uphill struggle to get into the top four. They're going to have to win all the rest of their games to stand a small little chance of getting in there. Leeds, like Grangetown, probably going to get into our championship finals along with Wyre. We know South Ribble and Worth have been relegated already due to them not participating.
Right.
Frustrating. Okay,
I tell you, I look at that.
What did you think, Martin, of the time wasting?
Again, it's within the rules. It was brilliant. It was funny. It was, let us know in the comments what you think. To me, do the other players, try and stop that from happening? No, don't look like it. But to me, it was funny, mate, to see. To be fair, it was.
Never seen that before,
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I honestly, I was in hysterics just watching. I was just like, how many passes was it?
Because I think it must be about 10, 12 passes.
It was just clever. It was like, I'm going to put passing it back.
Well, again, we'd use this as an Instagram poll. Was it disrespectful? It's within the rules, or is it just game management? Have a vote. Disrespectful, game management. What are you going for, Martin?
I just game management, mate. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's clever. It goes to show you the thought process in the players on how well they're thinking. They're just thinking we can just pass it. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't need to get a goal. We just need to let the clock tick down. We're comfortable where we are. It happens. As I say, it's like, I do bang on about Formula One. People complain about teams being this good and that good and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, it's for the other teams to try and stop that. That they've got the same amount of ability, get in there and improve your car. And in that scenario, I mean, at this level, I'm quite surprised to see that. I really am. I think that is just amazing. So it's a great thing for all the other teams to look at that and go, actually, it's quite clever. And B, how do we stop that if that starts happening to us? So it's good.
Yeah. And again, I complain about netballers not being streetwise enough.
That make me streetwise.
That's streetwise, yeah. So
that's off the charts, mate.
Play the game. Manage your environment. If you're winning, you don't always have to push it to gold all the time. Like you can do alternative things to frustrate your opponents and to drive down the clock and stuff. So yeah, we put a vote on that and see what happens with that one. But let's move into what happened at the weekend. Let's start.
Let me just say something about that table at this present time. Right. So, you're saying about Grangetown, Chester, obviously trying to move that. I look at that table, right? I ain't being funny. It's like Nam or whatever, World War II. You're at the bottom of the hill and you look up and your commander says, I want you to attack that position. And, the position is Kingsway Power at the top of the hill with big 20-foot guns sort of like aimed at you. It's like, I think if you can knock Kingsway or Ellesmere, or you can actually get into that top four, I think there should be a special prize for any of the team who can get into there from below Kingsway Power, because that's locked in as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, if we look at the fixtures in the March the 11th, this is a double header, by the way. We one on the south and we got one in the north.
You love pushing me to the edge, don't you?
Yeah. But Kingsway Power versus Leeds. Leeds are getting stronger and stronger, so I expect them to give Kingsway Power a good game. South Ribble Saddleworth not happening. Then we've got Wyre versus Leeds. So can Leeds, but yeah, good competitive game there for Wyre. Kingsway Power South River went happening, Saddleworth Chester went happening. I think Chester's under 14s might be filling in for that. I have to double check. But then Wyre versus Grangetown, Oldham versus Ellesmere Port. So Ellesmere Port, they need one more win to guarantee a top 4 place. It's going to be a tough one against Oldham. Then Chester versus Bury, a huge game. It's massive because Chester need to win that game to give themselves the best possible chance of a top 4 finish as well. Then Ellesmere Port versus Grangetown, another huge game, big game. Ellesmere Port just need 1 point, just one little point to guarantee a top 4 place. Oldham will take on Bury on the last game of the day, which is the 2 unbeaten teams at this present moment.
Oh, look at that.
So
you could ask for more, could you?
Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant round of netball. So, yeah, let's move on to the Under-12s North.
Under-12s North, there we go. I'll scroll down to the games. There we are. Ooh. God, we're in February already, mate.
I know, it's mad.
It is.
So, my admin error, we messed up a little bit on...
Hey, not a we, you.
me and my team. People think I've got a team of people around me. I definitely haven't.
We can see that.
So let's start with so the team of the week for me was Northwich Sapphires. So they started off with a win against Chester, 33-8. Then Bury played Oldham, superb game. I think you're watching this game at home, Martin. It was back and forth. Yeah. Oldham managed to get the win in the last quarter.
Very close.
I'm glad they did, because the poor Oldham coaches, they look like they're going to have a heart attack. Chester versus Leeds. Leeds are on fire, 47-7. Northwich Sapphires versus Bury. It was that score should have been more for Northwich. They were just crazily good in that game. Defensively, mid-court, attackers should have done better underneath the post, but they got the job done. It was 18-10. Oldham played Kingsway Power. Always going to be tough. And this particular Kingsway Power team, I'm struggling to see who will rival them, to be honest. They are absolutely incredible. It's just North Korea times 1,000, this team. Especially when they've already got the I'm not talking to you face and all that sort of stuff. Then the last game indoors was Leeds versus Kingsway Power under 11s, 31-8 to Leeds Athletic, meaning Kingsway Power and Leeds Athletic both on 8 wins out of 8. Then it was Kingsway Power under 11s. They beat Wyre. So that means it doesn't look like Kingsway Power under 11s will be relegated, but that did push Wyre into a situation where they had to win their next game to make sure they wasn't relegated. Then Grangetown played Ellesmere Port. Ellesmere Port got a win, 36-17. Then Ellesmere Port played again against Wyre, 36, meaning Wyre were relegated from the league for next season. Then Grangetown played Kingsway Power and lost 46-12. So
does look like Kingsway Power are literally...
Well, before we look at the table and look at the final games of the season, let's check out the highlights.
All right. Nice, nice. Recap. Do you know what? It was nice to actually be sat at home in my office, sort of set up, watching those games, just like the customers do. It was cool because I obviously needed to experience a few things as well. So, yeah, very good, very good.
Well, check out this table. So this is we've got some good little narratives playing out in the last game of the season. So these have played round 4 already. So they're all on 8 games. Both Kingsway Power and Leeds, 8 wins out of 8. So it's both on 16 points. Ellesmere Port, they have officially qualified for the grand. So the top 3 teams have qualified, but Ellesmere Port do not have to worry whatsoever what happens in the last game because they're already there. The only thing that potentially could happen is they might go to 4th based on the Oldham Northwich Sapphires. So they're going to have to make sure they still win their last game. But the big one, so we got the big championship game in the last game of the season, which is Kingsway Power versus Leeds. But we've also got a huge game between 4th and 5th to see who goes to the grand finals, Martin.
Oh,
between Oldham and Northwich. And look at that, both on 10 points.
Again, sell out that day, mate. It's got to be a sellout because that is massive.
It's brilliant. But not only that, we've got some huge relegation battles. So Chester will play Kingsway Power under 11s. Now, based on goal difference, Kingsway Power under 11s are fine in the sense that they're not going to go down because no one's going to score over 100 goals or 80 goals. But if Chester lose, and Grangetown win against Wyre, Grangetown survive, Chester go down.
Oh, and I know both Chester and Grangetown do not want to do that. Neither one of them wants to go down.
Chester, when you think, oh, we're playing an under 11s team, it's Kingsway Power under 11s. So it's but look at the lineup. You've got Chester versus Kingsway Power. You've got Wyre versus Grangetown, Bury versus Ellesmere Port. Bury, they can't come any higher than they're 6th. They're officially 6th place, regardless what happens. So they will play whoever comes 7th in the South in the championship finals as their first game. Then Northwich against Oldham at 12 o'clock. Huge game, massive. And that kind of gets us prepared for the championship game at 1 o'clock. It's like Leeds are getting better and better. Will they be good enough to take on Kingsway Power on April the 22nd? It all comes down to one thing. When they turn the ball over, can they score? Because you watch Kingsway Power, how they maneuver themselves after losing the ball. It's mental. The desire to get the ball back is just off another level.
They are. I mean, they maybe pop to one of their training sessions, do a review show, because their training sessions must, it must be intense, because they're on it. And like you said, it's like military style. Now, when they come in, it's it's the Empire walking in. It's everything. But then again, Leeds and Bury, when they played, that was a very good game, and there was not rivalry, but we class it as rivalry. But it was just like they needed the win. But you could see that both of them worked really hard, and Leeds. I don't think Kingsway Power in any shape, way, or form will be like, we'll just beat them. They'll be working hard, and I know Leeds will be working hard.
Yeah,
because that's going to be a mega game, mate. A great final to the end of season game, mate.
Temperament's going to play its part. Who's going to hold it together? And I'll tell you one thing that will define that is that how the parents are on the sideline. Now, I've watched enough. I've been involved in sport enough, and I've watched enough of these netball games to know that parents' attitude and their temperament on the side makes a difference between a player who's in control and who's out of control. I've seen parents shout to players, "Oh, she's hitting you," the umpire, and it just stirs the player up. They get too emotional. They're crying. They're not doing what they should be doing. And all because it was the parent who was winding them up.
I was going to say, all because they're embarrassed what their parents say.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah.
Or you've got the parents who just sit back kind of just let the players get on with it, because you don't need to tell a player if they're doing bad because they know they're doing bad.
Yes, that do you know, that's a big one. That really is. You know, shouting at somebody that they're doing bad, they know they are.
Like,
you know,
if someone's not doing particularly well, the best thing to do in that moment is just tell them, keep going, keep enjoying, and just because we all go through bad stages, whether it's business, personal life, or sport, and that's what defines your character. So, and it's just, and the people around you are key. Like if they're supportive, and you feel that they're with you in that moment where you're not particularly playing well, that's what gets you through. But when you feel like your support network is going on at you and bringing you further down, that's when it starts to unravel and collapse even further. So temperament and parents and coaches play a massive part in these games.
And fans.
You can't,
encouragement.
That's what I'm saying. It's just saying the right things at the right time. Just how you react to certain situations. Like, I've seen it a couple of times where the parents or the coaches are given a bad impression of the umpire to the players. So the players start getting a bad attitude towards the umpire, which means the umpire starts giving away fouls and stuff, or 3 seconds they probably wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
So tactically, it's not just about playing netball. It's about control your environment. Kind of just, again, be streetwise. Be like, don't let the don't harass or berate the umpire so they start giving stuff against you.
Yeah, because you don't. it's like your driving test. You know, you go on your driving test. Don't say anything nasty to your driving, examiner, because they're going to fail you. So simply just
play the game.
Control your game. Play it like it is, and just get on with it. But another one is I expect to sell out again for that, because literally as many people you can get in for your team watching, cheering on, it does so much for the players, the encouragement that they hear. And we've been there. We've seen, two teams fighting really well, but the team that wins on the day is the one with the most fans, because they're shouting their encouragement and they're lifting them up and they're giving them that energy to go and win. I mean, it's a bit like, actually, the other team should have won, but you can tell that having people cheering on that team pushed them through, gave them that extra bit of energy, that turn the knob to 11 scenario.
It would indeed. So April the 22nd, get your tin hats on,
mate. It's going to be a busy end of season, mate. Woo.
So to finish off our recap before we move on to this weekend, let's look at the under 15 Southern Conference, Martin's personal favourite.
And what do you mean by that?
So these games have been split into half because of not being able to access certain venues and stuff. So we had Team Bridge have dropped out, unfortunately. So AP Saints under 14s have filled the gap. Magic beat them 28-15. Then Western Park Blades versus Turnford. It was a very convincing win for Turnford, 48-14. Then Magic played the AP Saints under 15s team and they lost 31-15. Then it was AP Saints under 14s against Western Park Blades and it was a 46-12 win. And the big game of the day was Turnford versus AP Saints. Score doesn't really reflect kind of how close it was. In the first quarter, AP Saints lost it by 2. In the third quarter, they lost by 1. And in the fourth quarter, they drew. It was the second quarter that was catastrophe. It was 14-2 in the second quarter.
All I can say is in the second quarter of that game, it was Ignite Afterburner from Turnford. Yes. It literally, if you're 2 planes flying along, just went supersonic. And even I was like, and I'm going to let this. I was being communicated by Magic and by Paul, certain coaches in the teams, saying, "How's the game going?" And it was just like, first quarter, 2 points in it. Then it was like second quarter. It's like, Oh, AP Saints. Oh,
Yeah, it was a bit of a catastrophe that second quarter, but they did steady the ship afterwards. But the damage had already been done. The iceberg had already been
broke
hit.
the hull. Yeah, it already broke the hull, mate.
The water was pouring in the second quarter. But before we go to the league table, let's have a look at the highlights.
Hopefully I choose the right one, because I've named them. There we go. What a day. What a day.
There we go. So not much drama in the games, but let's go to the table. It's the same story panning out as ever. Poole and Turnford, 6 games, 6 wins, 12 points each. And as usual, Poole have scored more goals. So this has been the same theme for the 3rd successive season. And in 3rd place, AP Saints, 4th place at Western Park Blades. It seems to me AP Saints have kind of secured that 3rd place. They do play Poole in their next game and could potentially push for the top 2 places, but they're going to have to beat Poole, and no one has ever done that in the league so far. So Western Park Blades 4th. It's a bit of a battle there between them and Magic for the last 4th place. Then it's Charnwood Rutland, Sutton Town, AP Saints under 14s, MK Dons, and Team Beds, who are the final teams in that group. But let's have a quick look before we move on to Saturday's games for the next set of fixtures. So AP Saints can't make the next one. So we've just got 3 games. We've got Western Park Blades versus Poole at 1 o'clock, AP Saints versus Western Park Blades at 2:30, and Poole, the big one, Poole versus AP Saints at 4 o'clock. Then on March the 12th, Turnford versus MK Dons, Charnwood Rutland versus Magic, Sutton Town versus MK Dons, Magic versus Team Beds, and Magic versus Sutton Town. So a busy Magic day on March the 12th. It's all about magic on March.
It is. It's got a bit of magic. MK Dons. Let's have a quick chat about them. You know, they're new into the league and everything. I think they've got more to bring, to be honest. So that's going to be an interesting one against Turnford. So,
yeah, no, with Eagles coming out and Team Ridge coming out, they've kind of devalued the league a little bit in the sense that, but this is why we don't really want to go to under 16s level. This is the type of thing you get. You don't really get teams dropping out at lower levels. Every single team that's dropped out so far has been from under 15s leagues this season. So
that's interesting.
sometimes you feel tempted, but at the same time you think stop, because at that age, again, the kids start to lose the heart, they lose the will to want to play and stuff, and it's not good. So
you got to keep on pushing through, mate, in life. You can't just give up. That, to me, struggles I've had, mate. And, like some people would just give up. You can't. And that's just wrong. It really is. It's a shame to see, TTNC pulling out. But you know what? I'll leave it to you to deal with your league and teams that are joining it. But from my point of view, I'm not happy about that either, mate, because I don't like to see quitting. Quitting to me is not good, because you don't want to show youngsters that quitting is fine. So there we go.
That's all I'm going to say. Inspirational evening.
Definitely. Exactly. There we go. About my rant. Let us know in the comments what you think about teams that drop out. I'd like to know what you think of it, to be honest, because you think it's okay, or do you think it doesn't promote, what would you say? Good mental health. There you go.
Good sportsmanship.
Good sportsmanship and good mental health. Because to me, you keep on playing. I was always taught this from a young age. You keep going. You never give up. Don't matter if you're losing. Don't matter. It's all experience. Keep going. Keep the fight. And like you said, sportsmanship, very interesting. But sportswomanship. There we go. How about that? Instead of sportsmanship.
Yeah, there you go.
Sportswomanship. There we go. Come on. Come back to the league, TTNC. We miss you.
So this Saturday, we have the under-14s Northern Conference. So let's have a look at what we're to expect. Have a quick discussion on...
Let's have a look. Under-14 Northern Conference. There we go.
Who's playing for what? So let's look at the fixtures. Oaksway versus Saddleworth. Both teams haven't won this season. So they someone's going to get a point at least.
Wee, hello. Then, no more duck. Whack, whack.
Big game here. Wyre versus Chester.
Yeah.
Wyre started the season well. They hit a sticky patch in the second round. They're on 4 points. They need to beat Chester. They have to win that game if they want to break into the top 4. Then they play Saddleworth. But the big game will be Chester. If they can get 2 wins on Saturday, they've got a huge end of the season coming up. Then Oaksway will play Kingsway Power. Good, solid, decent game there. Then the big game of the day is Chester versus Oldham. Last season, Chester played Oldham and they went against the grain. We all expected Oldham to beat Chester, and Chester won the game. So revenge is probably on the cards for Oldham in that one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. This is
Kingsway Power will play Ribble Valley. So Ribble Valley are currently in 7th with 4 points. Macclesfield will play Leeds Athletic. Macclesfield are one of those teams who still have a small little chance of breaking into the top 4. It's wide open there, especially if say Chester were to lose a couple of games and Leeds and Wyre win, and there's a big opportunities there this weekend. I think it's gonna be a very interesting weekend. But Ribble Valley have got a tough task against the old treble chasers at 2:00. Macclesfield versus Leeds at 3. Grangetown, can they hold on to that 4th place? That'd be a heck of achievement. They just survived relegation last season, and now they're pushing for the top 4. They've got Oldham at 4:00. Ribble Valley then have Leeds at 5. Then Grangetown against Macclesfield at 6. So let's have a quick. So let's have a look at what potentially could happen. So we have Kingsway Power. I fully expect them to go and get 2 wins on Saturday. Then Oldham will take on Chester, and could Chester for the 2nd season in a row kind of ruin Oldham's chances of winning this league? So Oldham needs to keep the pressure on. That's what happened last season. Oldham Chester took the wind out of Oldham's sail, and kind of guaranteed they couldn't really win the league. So Oldham will be looking for revenge. I expect them to get that revenge because they have been looking good this season. But let's wait and see what happens. But Chester can't really afford to lose more than 1 on Saturday. If they do, they're going to find themselves in a bit of a tricky situation with the last 3 games to go. The big story, though, is Grangetown. They nearly got relegated last season. Now they're pushing for the top 4. one win will give them a great chance of getting into the top 4, and it'll be a huge achievement for that team. So let's see what happens there. But Leeds Athletic, they're filled with under-13s players from our under-13s league, and they've played all the top teams now. They've got all teams that sit below them. So they will be thinking, they've played Kingsway Power, they've played Oldham, they've played Chester. So they'll be thinking, hold on a minute, time to get this party started.
You're on open water now. Time to open up the engine and let it burn. Oh, that could be very interesting. Good call out there, Rich.
So now we've got, but Wyre is big for Wyre. If they beat Chester, because they're more than capable of doing it, because they beat Oaksway, who the tables line a little bit because they're not a 9th place team, Oaksway. But Wyre have that ability to beat some of the top teams. Is whether they can do it or not. If they beat Chester and then go and beat Saddleworth, what a great end to the season they're going to have. And if they do that, then on March the 18th, they will play Oldham and they will play King. Oh, God, they're going to have to win these 2 games. Let's just forget March the 18th for Wyre. Just get through these 2 games first.
Put all your energy into the next 2 games. That's what I say. You could have read it out better, mate. It's like, just blinkers on. Don't see it.
So Ribble Valley, again, one of those teams are new into the league. They have a chance, like everyone else has a chance. They're going to have to win at least 1 game this week to keep that chance alive. Macclesfield need 2 wins. If they can get 2 wins, they've got a chance. Oaksway, I think the chance will go to at least reach the top 4 because unfortunately they will be playing Kingsway Power, and not even the Russian army could probably take on Kingsway Power. So it's going to be a tough ask for Oaksway, but should be a really good game. But go and prove us wrong, Oaksway. Come on.
Yeah, got it.
And then Saddleworth, they'll be looking for their first points of the season. Don't forget, this Saddleworth team were our first ever Northern Conference champions.
Wow.
This is a historic team. Yeah.
So why are they sitting low at the bottom?
It's just, again, sometimes when you're the trendsetter, you know, it's a bit like the pace setter, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You set the pace, then everyone else comes through. But don't forget, they still have the history. They still have that historic championship win. And when you look at most leagues across the world, whether it's youth leagues, whether it's professional leagues, you don't get many winners.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Premier League, it's been going for 30 years.
And
10 teams in 30 years have won? Or less than that?
Yeah. Good point.
6-7 teams out of 30 years have only won the Premier League. So to have your name in the history books is an amazing achievement. So just Saddleworth, heads down, think like champions, play like champions, and see what can happen this week. So
bring it back.
They'll be hoping for at least 1 win to get out of the relegation zone.
Yeah. Good luck, Saddleworth. So there we go.
That's it.
Sunday, you got a Netball Cup, haven't you? Is that correct?
Say again?
So Sunday's a Netball Cup game, is it?
Yeah, we got the Eastern Finals of our Cup event, which kind of works alongside our leagues and stuff. So gives teams the opportunities to become double winners and treble winners, and it's 10-minute games. It's a different narrative. So it gives
just
teams
a bit, mate.
a pump.
All I can say, it's like, you know what I mean, like Afterburner, that 10-minute game, those players just get involved. If your team's not involved in these 10-minute games, get involved. Seriously, I can't understand why you wouldn't. It's just intense.
Yeah. It's right. So we got that on Sunday. And yeah, we just keep steamrolling forward, mate. We keep knocking these fixtures out, and we keep ploughing through, and before we know it, it'll be the national finals, and it'll be all done and dusted for another season.
Yeah. Do you know what national final? God, I can't believe we're talking national finals already. It's just crazy, isn't it? Those national finals, I you know, maybe it's something we should really promote at the start. Getting into them, that is literally like, you know, we will rock you scenario.
The only thing I'm worried about this season is the championship finals we're organising.
Yeah.
I'm worried that some teams will just turn around and say, "Oh, we're not doing that because it's not the main one." But the whole point is to offer a platform for the kids.
Yeah.
Now, we all can't be top 4. We all can't be top 10, whatever. But we can find a place where we can be successful. And I always remember going back to Nigel Winterburn when he come to my active gamers competition, the left back for Arsenal. And he turned around and said to the kids, it doesn't matter whether it's Premier League, whether it's Division 1 or Conference or Sunday League. He goes, find your level and be great at that level.
That's a good point.
He says, don't measure yourself by someone at the very top.
Yeah.
Because that's not, unfortunately, you will find where you're meant to be. And when you find where you're meant to be, just enjoy it and be successful within that level. And I thought to myself, you are right, mate, because we're so busy comparing ourselves to the top of the table. We're forgetting there's a lot of success to be had somewhere else.
Yeah. I keep on getting compared, right? FBL broadcast, I should say. Keep on getting compared to Sky Sports. All right. Sky Sports is up here. FBL is down here, as in financially. All right. And with resources and stuff. But I love the fact that I'm the best at my game. In what I do, in the financial level of what I provide and the ecosystem, you know, I provide the whole solution, pay-per-view, all that lot, right? But the only point you can compare me to is to the top. I know I need a lot more to get to that top, but I'm more than happy that I am working my hardest, and people who work with me and all the stuff I provide is I'm there. There's nobody better than me. You know, there might be some company that says, "Oh, we can do what you do." It's like, well, then do it. But you won't do it because you're not getting paid £15 million to do it. But under what I do it on, and, you know, I try and, you know, work with great enterprises like ENG, you know, business companies, and literally provide a service that there is nobody, is there, Richard, better than me?
No, there's not. There's no one out there who would put the time and effort into a live stream. For like they won't put the time and effort in. They will look at grassroots sport, whether it's football or anything, and they just go, well, what's the point? It's just grassroots. But you are actually like looking at grassroots sports and thinking, I want it to look like Sky Sports.
Well, yeah. If you want to, yeah.
No, but you know what I mean?
I want it to be up there, better than Sky Sports. But again, like you said about Nigel Winterburn, I'm the best at what I am, and that's what you got. You know, I mean, I ain't Sky Sports. I know that. I don't have the financials for that. But, you know, once I do have those financials, Sky Sports, look out. I'm coming for you. But again, stay focused. Be the best that you are where you are.
Yeah.
Agree with that 100%. What a lovely speech there. I love that. I remember that.
No, that was good. It was good. And then if you do come 5th to 8th and you go to the championship finals, the medals will still be beautiful. The trophies will still be beautiful. The arena's still going to be amazing. It's the Essex Sports Arena, one of the best arenas in the country. You're going to feel like a superstar. And when you pick up the trophy and the confetti cannon goes off, you're still going to feel like $1 million.
Yeah. And just think, right, when you win that, how you're going to, next season, you're going to be like, right, let's get to the top. Because,
precisely,
you know, we can do this. We've done it once. Right. Nothing. You know, not even Kingsway power is going to stop. You know, don't give in. Just give it. And again, like you said, the experience of being at that, you know, I see parents when they're, you know, parents and family and friends, they go to that event and they love it. And, you know, I have a parent say to me now, like, ENG, I get it. I get why it's the way it is and everything, because the kids love it. And yeah, you're not playing for the top, you know, the top spot, but the experience you'll get and that feeling of winning in a very high competitive environment, you won't beat it.
No, I agree. But then at the same time, that event in particular potentially is a difference between girls quitting sport and carrying on.
Yeah, well, that's it.
It's
that
keeping them
energy.
motivated and it's keeping them engaged in sport, because once they stop doing sport, there's a million other rubbish things they could be doing. So keeping people involved in sport is key.
Definitely. Yeah.
There we go.
There's no words to be said about that, because
let's just end it there now.
That's great.
There's too much truth coming out.
Yeah, and we're too highly controversial people. All right. So don't forget to follow us on all the social media channels, Instagram, Twitter, follow us on YouTube. As you can see, there's a YouTube channel for ENG, not that they promote my stuff anyway. And yeah, don't forget, watch this week. Come watch, or if you can't watch it live on FBLStreamsLive.com. Right. All good. Anything else, Rich?
No, all good. I'll see you all Saturday. Great day of netball planned. And yeah, let's keep this train running.
All right. Catch you all later. Thank you very much for watching.